that have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? I hope you're having a good one. I'll put myself up there so you can see me a bit. It's a beautiful day in Queensland, and it does look like a beautiful day in Victoria. How do I know that? Because, well, we are floating around in Victoria, specifically in an area between St Arnaud and Horsham, if you like. The area is known as Wallaloo or Wallaloo, rather, Wallaloo East, and is the site at the moment of a protest being put forward, not just a protest, a denial of access put forward by Victorian farmers who are having their lands invaded by Victorian government entities wishing to do no manner of studies and God knows whatever else, impact studies on the land because they plan on putting transmission towers there. Now, where is all this happening? Well, it's a beautiful little place called Willaring Road, and we'll zoom into it so you can have a bit of a look here. Now, that's Wallaloo Road in Wallaloo East. And at the moment, there are a number of people who are in that area. And when I say a number, a great number of local farmers have turned up to help Ben and his family who've been on the land there for a number of years. Now, when I say a number of people have turned up, there have been a few, there have been a few signs that have gone up along the way, which has been fun. And our man on the spot out there is, of course, Tony from our very own family. And he's taken the drive up from Melbourne today to cover all this. And when he got there, he was arriving just as some others were. Unfortunately, the area that they're in is of very, very, very little mobile phone service. And we have a number of things that we were trying to get a live picture out of there, all of them really dependent on Telstra. How silly of us. So Telstra have let the team down. Tony, on the other hand, has brought great glory upon himself. It's been quite a drive to get from where Tony lives to where this place is, just to give you a bit of an idea of the scale. That's Willaring Road. Now, for people who know Victoria, you can see Maryborough or Maryborough over on the right, Stawell, Halls Gap and Horsham. St Arnaud is here. I used to live in a little place called Rapanya, which if I zoom in, you'll find about there. And many, many miles out, you get an idea of just where in Victoria it lies. Well, Tony's come from Melbourne this morning, and unfortunately, our star stringer hasn't been able to bring Telstra along with him to help, which is rather sad. But he is going to be recording, and I did manage to speak to Ben Duxsons, whose property everybody is gathering on, because about now, in about 20 minutes, they are expecting the workers from VICGRID to approach the farm and ask for access so that they can do some environmental type studies, impact studies on the land. The farmers in that area are all denying access to the land, even though the Victorian government last week or the week before put forward new laws and made laws, new legislation that made laws, it made it illegal for farmers to block access to these transmission tower terrorists and make the farmers liable for fines starting at $800. Now, we might find that an enforcement officer does turn up to Ben Duxsons' property today. I'm not sure if Ben has had previous visits. I'm led to believe that the authorities, like VICGRID, will approach 3 times and ask for access. And if they're denied, then when they come back, they will bring somebody, I guess, from the court to try and enforce access, and if that is not granted, then they'll be handing out the fines. After all, as we all know with this grubberment, it is simply just an exercise in money. Thank you to the Stony Creek Bush Camp. Yes, Tony is doing a great job and is coming through with the goods for us here at Voice of Freedom. God love him. He does so much for me behind the scenes. He does so much for us all behind the scenes you don't really know. And he is also looking forward to calling in and offering a bit of a hand at the donkey sanctuary at some stage in the not too distant future. So I know Sandy and Baz are very keen to catch up with him there too. So and Sandy's in the chat. I hope you guys are going okay this morning. Everybody got out of bed okay and are still wandering around. Dusty, good to see you floating around too, mate. Lovely Gay in Oklahoma. Yes, you do like the morning shows. They're a bit better for you time-wise, aren't they, Gay? So lovely to have you around. I'm wondering whether or not Oklahoma is a big state. A lot of farming goes on there. Have you had similar issues with these wind turbines in Oklahoma? I know that in certain parts of America they're a big deal, but I don't know about Oklahoma. So if you want to post something up there in the chat, I'll be interested to learn. Hello, Diane. Thank you very much. G'day, Daniel. Oh, now, did I mention I caught up with Daniel in Canberra? Wonderful man. So thank you very much. Best vanilla milkshake I've had in, well, bloody long time. I haven't had vanilla milkshakes in a bloody long time, but the best one I had. Very decent indeed. Looks like Carl is looping. Well, that could just be me. G'day, Paul. Nice to have you in. Oh, and you're checking across all the channels, mate. You are a legend. Really appreciate that. If you haven't already bookmarked it, folks, Voice of Freedom is now streaming on FBN Media too, on both the YouTube, I think, and the Rumble channel, but certainly the YouTube FBN Media channel. Now, FBN is being set up a little differently, and on the Rumble version of it, at any rate, there will be different channels, so different providers, if you like. Wade Nordhausen springs to mind. Wade Nordhausen is on his way to this event right now. In fact, he should be there anytime in the next 15 or 20 minutes. But he too will be stuck without much phone signal. I've got a feeling. But he and Nick are certainly traveling there, and we'll try and catch up with them when phone service is, or they're in a phone service area. But today is a very big day down in Victoria, and great to have people like Billboard Battalion on the road, and on, we hope, FBN Media in the not too distant future, where Billboard Battalion could have its own channel under the FBN Media banner. This is what we're hoping to do for a great number of not just interest fighters. I'm not going to call us freedom fighters. I'm going to call us interest fighters. We're fighting for our own interests and our overarching best interests, which is staying alive. These bastards are trying to kill us. They don't really care how. They do have a bit of a time frame in mind, and we would like to put an end to all of that bullshit. So anybody who believes something like that will have a home on FBN Media and their own channel to work from, with obviously the benefits of having everybody else on the channel involved to help promote and cross-promote, help build audiences, help spread the message that all is not lost. It's all just a movie. We've just got to survive the playing out of it. And the more you know about it, the more you're willing to accept that it's just a movie, the more you are willing to accept some of the more difficult things that normies find difficult to accept. Like, there'll be people in Melbourne who can't understand why at the moment there's 250 farmers gathered together in a paddock in the middle of nowhere in the Wimmera Mallee. They won't understand why these people are so passionate about it. Most of them think milk comes from a bottle, not a cow, and bread just comes out of the bakery. Don't matter about the wheat or anything else that you need to make it. This is the food bowl, or one of the food bowls of this country, and it's a very serious part of our human food chain. And the Victorian state government seems to believe they can ride roughshod over it all. I would make a suggestion to any of the organisers of these protests or these standoffs. They're not really protests, they're denial of access standoffs that are happening in Victoria and other places at the moment. When a state government makes a law, it doesn't necessarily mean that that law is lawful. And you might find that there is federal legislation that overrides anything state governments can dream up and put into legislation and vote through. And that is the case with all of this. There are certain protections afforded under federal acts to land, Australian land, but more particularly to producers. I'm not completely au fait with them. Somebody did mention them to me briefly in the last 24 or 48 hours. And I'll be honest, between driving back from Canberra and getting back here and trying to sort out a few things and get a show together last night, I haven't had time to look at it. But I would suggest that anybody involved in actions against VICGRID or the power companies trying to gain access to your land, using the threat of fines, which I think, as I said earlier, in the first instance, I believe are $800, and then they go up to $6,000 for every time you deny access. And eventually, I imagine the threat will be, we're just going to bulldoze our way onto your land anyway. So I know that the farmers can't afford $6,000 fines. That's just beyond the pale. However, it is and always has been a money-raising exercise. And if you're not going to allow them to raise money out of those transmission lines, pushing inflated priced electricity down those lines to the people of Melbourne, who still believe in many cases that milk comes from a bottle and that eggs just miraculously appear, well, God help us, is all I can say. But fight hard. And that's exactly what the farmers in the Wimmera Mallee are doing, all over the Wimmera Mallee. But at the moment, the area of interest seems to be between St Arnaud and Manu, and north up to sort of, I believe, Wedderburn, or maybe slightly west of there, and a little further south down towards Stawell. So I imagine there is a very large wind farm generation centre going on around there somewhere. And believe it or not, these farmers have been offered a lot of money. In many cases, just give us $20,000, or we'll give you $20,000 just to come onto your land and see, what trees have to be pushed over and what impact we're going to make on a footprint inside your prime wheat growing field when we put one of these transmission towers up. And it's not just the footprint of the tower, it's the access to it. It's all the roads access to it. They have to be a certain width. They've got to be maintained. And the people who have gone through similar things in Queensland are the people who have allowed the fracking to occur on their properties. Large areas of what used to be farmable land now aren't, because of the roads and the infrastructure that's required to maintain the infrastructure on site. Well, nothing changes with the wind turbines or solar panel, paddocks. They still need access. Somebody's still got to be fixing them, sadly. Cooker 28 was about 10 minutes out, so fingers crossed. I hope you get there, dude. Tony is, I'm not sure if he's listening, but he will be filming the lot. And then we will be uploading that to our Contrib site, and I will play all this back tonight in the show so you get an idea of what happens. So 7 minutes out. Oh, Cookie, you should be there by now. Well, between all of us in the freedom movement, can't we afford Starlink for these events? Well, I have Starlink, but it's not much use to me or to Tony where he is. I don't think he has Starlink from memory. And if he does, he probably has the same version I do, which is version 1, that isn't meant to be a mobile version. And to be honest, I've not heard great things about the mobile version because it mounts flat on a roof. And if you are parked under anything in a motorhome or a caravan, you don't get any signal. So I prefer to have one on the cable that I can roll out and put out somewhere out from under a tree if I have to, and I can still gain pretty good signal. Now, I know that there are services available, but that would be entirely doable if we could afford the monthly service fee, and we could buy it for Tony, and he could have it in his car, and he would have access wherever he goes. I think that is a bloody brilliant idea. For us to be able to afford to do that every month means we've got to sell a lot more tickets every month in our lottery. Now, we have given away our 1 gram gold bar or gold ingot, and we've given away $750 last night. Now, you won't believe who won the $750. Tony. God love him, our cameraman who's there on the spot right now. So Tony won the $750. He called me as soon as he got the email. The system automatically generates an email to the winners. And so he rang me straight away, and Sandy, you'll be pleased to know he's donated all of the $750 back to the Donkey Sanctuary. So you'll be getting that plus what we send you as well. So that's going to be a little bit more. But if we are going to give Tony a Starlink system so he can truly be a stringer anywhere for us in Victoria and bugger the phone signal, then we need to raise the cash for that. And at the moment, the only way we can do that is either by donations. And if you'd like to donate for that cause, by all means, please do, and stipulate, hey, I'm given X amount for this. Make sure you get him a Starlink. I don't even know how much they cost at the moment, but we will. It's a bloody good idea, but we have ongoing costs of connection with it, and we have to raise the money to be able to pay for that every month. And the only way we can do that at the moment is by donations or via the lottery. And I'll be honest, with the lottery, we're trying to give most of what we get to the Donkey Sanctuary as well, because we love them. We pay our minimal costs that, we have to pay out of it, which is sort of, all Vince's end. And the rest of it, we want to help the Donkey Sanctuary out as much as we possibly can. So the more times we can churn that lottery over means more money we are able to generate to buy and install and run something like a Starlink for Tony, so that anywhere we go, anywhere he goes, that is struggling for mobile service, he'll have it. And I think that'd be something we would very, very much be interested in looking at from not only just Voice of Freedom, but from an FBN standpoint next year, when we plan like we're doing. Well, I'm not going to tell you what we're planning, but we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff next year. So looking forward to see how all that works. Look out. That's Spazza ringing me. He's clearly not watching. Come on. Oh, no. Spazza had a date this morning, and they'll be ringing up to tell me how that went. No, it wasn't one of those dates. It was a date with the bankers in the court. Let's do an environmental study on our farms. Yeah. Well, you should do that on the politicians' properties. I think that's a bloody great idea, Diane. These people who are making these decisions, these shiny bums sitting in offices, who went to university and got schooled in the right language and the maths and the other brainwashing that occurs, they have no idea what true country people are like. And they have no idea what this kind of atrocity being planned to be perpetrated on their lands means to those families. In some cases, that land has been in the family for generations and generations. And if it hasn't been in that family, it's been in a close friend's family for a long time. I was lucky enough in my very early years to grow up in the Wimmera, and more beautiful people you'd be hard-pressed to meet. My unabiding memories are of community, of coming together, of celebration at different times of the year, a lot of it around harvest, where the Rapanya Pool used to come alive for, you know, dance and all this kind of crap. The kids would be allowed to go out and play, and we'd run amok in the town. I don't know if that still happens anymore. I doubt it, because they've been engineering a breakup of community for so long. But I am sure that the bonds of the community are still there. There are still very strong names in that area, very, very big family names that have been in the area for years. And, you know, I'm sure they're all struggling. They're all struggling in their own different way. Some of it may not be, you know, like others, but there are struggles in every endeavour, in everybody's life. But the community that I grew up in and around Rapanya, Horsham, Matoa, Minyip, Lalat Plains, Rupp North, Rupp South, all those wonderful little places, Minyip. Oh, did I say that? That was where Flying Doctors was shot, by the way, for those of you who remember. That sense of community was amazing. Going out onto people's properties when there were celebrations, birthdays. They weren't just little family birthdays. The whole town had come to celebrate. This was a very wonderful time for me growing up, and it's what I base my feeling of community all about. Country folk come together. They help each other. They work together, and they help each other. They don't profit out of each other too much. And for the most part, I don't think they do too much lying to each other. It very much is I watch over you, you watch over me kind of community, spread out over tens of thousands of square kilometres, probably hundreds of thousands of square kilometres in the Wimmera Mallee. And I'm sure there are those communities existing in other parts, not just in Victoria, but they are the country people. They are the real country folk whose lives are being ruined by city kids who grew up in cities, going to city schools, going to city universities, being brainwashed in the whole metropolitan mindset and one world theories. And then over the years, they get into their careers and wind their way into positions of power where one day they can write a document that says, oh, we should put transmission towers all the way up the road and down through there. Nobody will really mind. And we'll see what happens. Oh, we've got a picture back from Tony. Quickly, let's...
Yeah, Carl, we're off Billboard Battalion Starlink.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you to Wade and Nick. That's awesome of them.
Yeah. I said many thanks to them. But they're just getting some shots off the back of the tanker. I think they are. Somewhere up there they were.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Don't walk too far away from it.
No, I've got to stay within close proximity. There they are up there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Off the back.
So Billboard Battalion are going hard. That's excellent. I didn't realise Wade had his own Starlink, but yep, that's bloody awesome.
Yeah, might be my next investment, I think, Carl.
Well, we've just been talking about it in the chat, Tony. People have suggested that surely we can come together and get you a Starlink so that when this sort of thing happens, that, you know, you can cover it for us. So it looks like a pretty good turn up, mate. A couple of hundred people there.
I reckon then maybe 500-600 people here.
Wow. Have you been able to see Ben at all, and have you heard of...
Yeah. Do you want to have a chat with him?
Yeah, sure. If he's... Oh, no, we'll let him go then.
The local FM station, probably where you worked once upon a time.
3WM?
Yeah, you see it?
There you go. That's awesome.
We got the Starlink, so did you want to have a quick chat with Carl at all? Yeah, you can hear Carl.
G'day, Ben.
How are you, Carl?
G'day, Ben. Great to see you talking with my old radio station, 3WM. Brings back a lot of memories. So, Ben, just quickly, I know you're looking for these buggers to turn up. They're about to turn up at any minute. What are you expecting today, and have they been to your property before?
No, I think that's why they're here today. So everyone else that has had a visit have been cancelled their next. So there is a second and third visit. So this is our first visit today. So no, it looks as though I've been to all the other ones at the moment, and twice a day the last 2 weeks, and it's pretty easy kill. We don't actually really have to say much or do anything. It's but today we'll be asking them where they see the future of it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I know the resilience of people in the Wimmera Mallee. You're not going to go away. You're not going to stop turning up. In fact, the numbers are only going to increase. So what do you think the government's intention will be from here?
Tune in. We'll ask that question today, I think. So they're in full control of this. They've got taxpayers' money. They've got the law on their side. They've got a very strong hand. So let's actually see what their intentions are.
I'll let you go. I won't hold you up. But how did harvest go for you?
I hadn't even started yet, Carl. So everyone's been held up with rain, which has been good for us over the last 2 weeks. But everyone's in really good spirits. And, the way it looks today is that they're going to find it very hard to get onto our land.
That's the spirit, mate. Well, if we can do anything going forward to help, all you need to do is reach out. We're very happy to help you in any way, shape or form. So today we'll stick with you for the whole duration.
Good on you.
Good on you, mate. That's Ben Duxson, owner of the property that these buggers are turning up to today. Wade obviously is streaming live to Billboard Battalion at the moment. So pretty difficult to try and get a conversation with him going on because his side will only hear one half of it. So we won't worry about trying to talk with him. I'm just having a bit of a glance down through the chat now. See who's there. Oh, yep. They do have their spies out. You're 100%. Can Starlink be bought online? Gay. I'm pretty sure it can, but I don't know. I don't know that in Australia from Oklahoma it can. I don't know. We can research that. But thank you. Show us the fire truck again. Wants a toolbox tour. Somebody wants a toolbox
jump
tour.
on there and film for
Pete.
me, but, you know.
So Pete from Pinaroo is part of the South Australian Fire Brigade or the SACFA. I don't know what it's called.
We got to turn up.
Oh,
No, he's just security. It doesn't matter. You want to see Mike? You want to see Mike?
I want to see you. So, can you bring it up here? Get a photo. Hang on. So you don't want to be photoed with your ID, but you're happy to come here.
He's got no camera, right? There's no camera.
No, it doesn't matter. But we just like to see a couple of things.
Oh, he's not coming on to the property. I'm just here for a conversation.
Well, that's what you thought of, right?
There's no forced access onto the property.
But you've been telling us that.
Well, I'm here in regards to that, but there's not going to be any forced access.
Your spiel. What's your spiel?
Well, is Heather here, or are you acting on behalf of her? So I just want to confirm you received the recent notice.
Hang on there, mate.
You got it there? Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Take a photo of that. That's where you put it.
Well, just in regards to that notice, that's why I'm here today. Respectfully ask if we can access the property to take it to. Not going to happen.
Access denied.
But I think
going to happen.
while you're here, I reckon you need to explain to all these people out here of the way this is going to unfold now. So you've got massive power here. You've got power to come into on our land. You've got taxpayer money. You've got the law on your side. You've got a really strong hand, haven't you? But what we want to hear is how you're going to get through the people here. And these good people are all got pride and passion for their farms, haven't they? And I don't understand how your program and your project's going to get through. But can you please explain that to us? Because everyone's wanting to know what the next move is of your company.
I can't explain that. I'm just here to facilitate the service. So look, I can give you.
Can we get Alistair Parker out here, or Lily D'Ambrosio, or Chris Bowen, or Jacinta Allen, or Anthony Albanese? Because this is big. And what you don't understand.
Oh, so Alistair last night was on the 7:30 report.
And he lied. Couldn't even get the fines right.
You don't understand that these are people's farms.
Not his 800 or 600 he claimed. Like, he looked incompetent. They're the rules he made. You should at least know what they are.
As the person in charge, do you know what the next move is?
I'm not in charge. I'm here. I'm just facilitating surveys for the project. So that's why I'm only here.
But you've had 2 weeks of this. You've called some of them off. You must have a plan. They must be talking to you. Why aren't they talking to you?
Well, I don't know what the next one is.
Is this
Hold
a stunt for the ES so that you can claim that you have been
Which is already
impeded
written. So.
and that you were denied? But look at us, we've ticked a box, so let's proceed. Is it to pacify the Spanish company that is going to get the build? Are you keeping them hanging on and making it into basically, look at us, we're doing the right thing, this is still going to happen, cough up your money? When Alistair knew from day one this was a hard no, and it is still a hard no. Not sure. I think most people amongst us here know what no means, but for some reason, VICGRID and Alistair and Lily don't comprehend the meaning of no. Have a good look around. This is what no looks like.
Just go back to this guy over here. He's been interrogating farmers now for 2 years, turning up on our roadsides, walking around. Have a look at him. Everybody have a look at this face over here. I don't think he's going to get employed again in Victoria. This bloke over here has been interrogating every farmer around. Oh, he wants to wrap it up now. He doesn't want to be here. But that's what you've been doing, interrogating farmers.
This is pure taunting on your behalf. You need to stop this. Alistair Parker needs to stop this. If he wants to come and try and get on their land, get him out here. Get those people out here. And you know what? The people support is talking. I like that. It's not going to happen.
Oh, okay, good.
Why have you got to have 3 visits?
Exactly.
I'll leave it here. I'm going to go. Thanks for your time. Good talk. Any questions?
Why have you got to have 3 visits?
Stop taunting us.
He wouldn't know. That thing never done was walk away, mate.
Yeah, walk away.
No access.
It's denied.
Tell the kids to know it. Had a good day.
Run in and watch the testing.
No, we just here. We just CCV
All right. Well, access has been denied, and it doesn't look like any great answers are forthcoming at the moment, at least from these people. Wade can't get a word out of him either, by the look of it. He's he's tried to get a word from them. They're climbing into their cars and disappearing. They've made their $600 today. Thank you very much, or whatever they make a day.
2 AO, 6 UN, 2 AO, 6 UN, 2 AO,
Yeah. Gone. And obligation fulfilled for the day. They'll fill in the report, send it back to the office. But as Ben said, everybody there, some 500 or 600 folks, all want to know what the next step is. Do they think they're going to force their way onto these people's properties and do whatever the hell they like? Are they going to start throwing out fines? And if so, we might be able to point them in the direction of how we can help in managing those fines. Might be the way forward with that. But certainly it's a big issue.
We're a bunch of cowards and robots in the country. So
I reckon there's an estimated anyway, mate. That's the thing, like, and you know what? It's okay to be wrong. Got to admit that it's difficult to wrong. Stop. You're going to start working for every Australian household, every Australian business to connect the miles of power to everyone, not to multinational, multi-billionaires, multinational institutional events that connect government employees. That's all the companies are about.
So when
House
they,
in the trough.
and as we've seen, it's been Bowen and Albanese.
Blackout
We're
Bowen.
going to have lowest prices of electricity. It's going through the roof.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just crazy the way they're doing it.
But you can't believe one thing that they say
No,
at
I
all.
wouldn't believe it. But I'll just address it.
Yeah, mate, for sure.
Yeah. So looks like Ben's going out.
Yep. Thanks. Just a massive thank you. Get all your signs up. There's going to be plenty of photos taken up here. Just a massive thanks for everyone turning up here today. Didn't expect it. Didn't need it. You can see how easy a kill these people are. But I think what the last 2 weeks, and we've always said this, the fight's going to be at the gateway, and now it is well and truly at the gateway. The government knows what they're in for now, and the thing, we all make mistakes, we all get things wrong, on top. This is no good for Australia. It's certainly no good for the farmers. And by every one of you turning up here, they'll get the message that they cannot come out here and bulldoze through here. I always start putting myself in their shoes, and I honestly do not know how they penetrate us now. With this amount of support, and thank you to everyone that's come from a long way away, you're all seeing it. This is a grassroots movement that will only get bigger and bigger. So make sure you're out there, make sure you're telling everyone, make sure you're educating everyone, and that's all we've ever done. We've done it peacefully, and we've done it really well. So these clowns have got a real opposition out here that they know they can't get through, and you've got the pride, the passion, the love, the morals, and the value for your communities, and that will outbeat anyone that's got a heap of public money, who can change the rules, have got all the billionaires. They've got a really strong hand, but they haven't got this hand, and this hand will win it. So thank you everyone for coming out.
Yeah!
Every sign hold it up, and just make sure you keep talking about it over the Christmas table. We'll be back next year. As we asked him today what their plan is, he didn't give it an answer of the plan. Alistair Parker, Chris Bowen, Lily D'Ambrosio, Jacinta Allen, and Anthony Albanese, the only ones that can do anything, and they're going to come out here and try and stop us. And we won't let them try and stop us either. So well done for everyone for turning up. Keep turning up, keep reading well, keep educating, because people power with this, and it's just starting to get going.
Oh, it's a bloody great turnout. That's a great turnout at Ben's place. I'm wondering if anybody else is going to get up and have a say.
People are thinking what the government's doing to them now, and we can hardly do it by all actually grabbing hold of something and simply working and denying access like this. It's just simply easy.
So when we see fires, we see the community turnout in numbers. We see floods, we see the community turnout in numbers. You consider this is equally as big an emergency to see our farmers being invaded and taken and the government going forward.
I can see what
talking this is critical infrastructure, and that's all they've really got at the moment. So critical infrastructure, it's not. It's a government-induced critical infrastructure build. So we're on to that. If we can do that, what we want to do is educate everyone out there to make sure that they know. And the energy price, I don't understand a person in Australia that's energy prices are coming down. Businesses are going broke at the moment. This is really bad policy for Australia. We need to stop and start again. It's all right to say you were wrong, that's fine. But you're up against people now out in the country that aren't going to move.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
People
mate, well, thank you so much for that. Really great to catch up.
Yeah, but we will.
Yeah, tell them all to stand up with their fire.
That's what we've seen, and I think it's a bit concerning as to their next step, as in the TCV. And I think that they should be absolutely looking at this and saying, no way, we are not going to push this any harder. But we've already seen them on the 7:30 report last night say that they're going to continue to go ahead with this. So I'm not sure where that ends up. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I'm fairly concerned, as I said, over some of the new legislation last week, last Thursday, and November, they put 3 new bills. And I think that it is, as I said before, we need to push it. It is absolutely disgraceful that what we're seeing is that the immediate CEO of the National Farmers Federation is actually
commissioner for renewable infrastructure. And when we look at this stuff,
Right. Well, it's all starting to get a little bit difficult to hear. You'll get a much better audio feed over on Billboard Battalion, that one coming through from Wade's microphones and whatnot. But as you can see, the event there is pretty much going to wrap up right about now. I imagine there might be a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, maybe a scone, or even a lamington being brought out of the back of a four-wheel drive and spread out on the back of a ute there somewhere. And as you can see, country kids, when let out the gate, what do? Run straight into the table drains and start playing games. That's Australian kids at its best, Australian country kids at their best. And this is why those people are fighting like they are on that land for their children and for their children's children to be able to stay on the land, to make a living from the land, and to be able to help all Australians and internationally, because God knows we do produce enough to sell it overseas. We do a lot of wool, we do a lot of wheat, and a lot of other stuff that gets sent overseas. So this is something we all need to get behind, whether it's in Victoria, whether it's in Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, New South Wales, Tasmania. This atrocity is happening in every state and territory in this country. And farmers are being ridden over in Victoria, especially with these new laws, which I think will not bear up under any sort of investigation and certainly cannot usurp federal law and the protections that that will bring. It's just, yeah, that country way of life. If you've never lived it, you find it very hard to explain. But you know, to go mousing in haystacks and not be afraid of whatever might else be living in the haystack. When I was a kid, we never thought of how many snakes might be in the haystack ever. We thought of how many mice there were and how many we could catch. Never thinking for a second that where there's mice, there's snakes. So you grow up in that kind of a world. City kids find that hard to understand. I mean, we also grew up putting our head on train tracks, watching trains coming towards us too. Don't know that kids are allowed to do that these days, which is a bit sad. All right, well, that looks like the signal is dropping out there from Tony, and we might leave it at that. I'll go back and try and cut a bit of that out, and we'll replay some of this in tonight's show. I'd like to thank everybody who's called out. I'll have to ring him back. I'd like to thank everybody who's tuned in the middle of the day and taken the time. Gay in Oklahoma, God love you. Thank you so much for being you, and so good to have you in the chat. We must do more of these morning things. Thank you, Anne, and thank you for your donation. I'm sorry I didn't get to Victoria, Anne, but rest assured, won't be long. I'll be back down that way. The best part of your wedding, Pete, was letting the kids take their best off and getting into the creek. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm surprised that I guess, yeah, you do make them take their best gear off, especially the new boots you buy them. Silver Fox. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, go and take your little radicalized selves off. Go and have some lunch or after lunch or whatever it is, which part of the world you're in. Maybe before lunch if you're over in Western Australia. And certainly if you are part of the group in Victoria, either at Ben's place right now or from properties all around that area and indeed north and south of there. If we can help at Voice of Freedom and FBN Media in any way, shape or form, then please, all you need to do is reach out to us, and you can email me, carl@vofhq.com. There's a bit of a shot from the top of the fire truck by the look of it.
That's right, Carl.
Yep, good tone. Looks like a few people have started to move off, but it's great to see. And this is just it. This is the sense of the community. This is, there's nothing left to do here now. The other folks have disappeared. They're not going to come on and sort of commando their way onto the property. This is the locals catching up with locals. They may not see them, from one week to the next. And there are a lot of people who have traveled a long distance who don't even know Ben or his family, or indeed many of the families in that area. And here they are communing at the farm gate, so to speak. It's really the paddock gate, I think. But it's just wonderful to see. And like I say, Tony, if you go sneaking around, you might find there's a cup of tea, coffee, a scone, or a lamington in the back of one of those trucks somewhere. Yeah, quite right, Gisela. It is wonderful to see people coming together. I just love it. Derek Ballog was looking for the donkey sanctuary. Well, Derek's got my number. He hasn't called it, but we're locked up there. So I don't know if Derek wants to contact the donkey sanctuary. Then, yep, we'd love to help him. Pete, yeah, you're droving cattle. So that really is the country life. Droving cattle, God, that used to be an art. You know, there were so many great droving stories about Australia's history and some great droving tracks, which nowadays I guess are four-wheel drive tracks. The Telegraph track springs to memory. Gay, you're blessed to know the Western District too. Yeah, well, that's awesome. Anyway, thank you for your support, Gay, and yeah, we'd love to have you joining us from Oklahoma. It's a beautiful part of the world. Silver Foxes, oh wow, trying to rebuild a Lucas Cav diesel pump at the moment. Well, better you than me is what I would say to that, my friend, because if I was helping you, we'd be losing seals and bolts and nuts and God knows everything else. Vince doesn't let me anywhere near that sort of thing these days. So got a few more pictures coming back. Ben just catching up with a few people, which is pretty awesome.
What? Say something?
No, you're right.
Okay.
I'm going to say.
So yeah, so I think a lot of the locals just calling up to thank Ben.
Hundreds of thousands of acres. We can get that put in somewhere.
Yep.
That feeds all red zones. So yeah. No worries. Ready to go?
If you want to, you want to go? You go on.
So today we've been represented by hundreds of thousands of acres of farmers here today to stand up for them in regards to the transmission line, res zones, and mines.
Yeah. So just say that you mate. Just put your one
down. Today we've been represented by hundreds of thousands of acres of farmers here today that have been here to help Ben stand behind Ben with all the transmission line, res zones, and mines.
Yeah, thank you very much for your efforts, and it's great to see so many coming out. Like you say, there are group representatives there, so there are maybe one or two representatives from groups that represent hundreds of thousands of people. This is not just what you see standing behind the gate on the farm, folks. This is a movement that is much, much bigger, and we've got to get behind it. You've got to get behind it. We certainly want to be and are to the best of our abilities at the moment. So I want to thank Tony for his efforts in heading out there today. It's no easy feat driving out to find a wheat paddock in the middle of literally thousands of wheat paddocks. And it's awesome that he's been able to take the time off and be able to get into this really great little community. As you can see, some of them starting to head off now, go back and do their own thing. And Ben and his family getting a huge amount of support, which is just awesome. Thank you, Diane, for your involvement in the chat today. That's been wonderful. And I suppose I should be saying, don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share this video today. Show people just what unity looks like, what community looks like here. This is, truly fabulous, and everything we as Australians, older Australians, can I say, came from and would love to return to on a much broader scale. It'd been lovely if the people in the cities could see this, rather than standing yelling at each other and screaming about things that really don't matter at the end of the day. This is what matters. Family, community, unity. Our picture seems to have frozen again, as they do. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll let Tony go and record a few more things. If you want to follow more closely with better audio, slip over to the Billboard Battalion Facebook channel or the YouTube channel. And I think Wade is still getting by a bit of a look I've got here on the pictures. So you'll get much better audio from there. And I look forward to seeing you all again in about 5 hours' time when we get together for our semi-regular nightly get-together. I look forward to that immensely. If you are going to be out on the roads today, particularly in the country areas, be safe. As we explained last night, there are a number of dickhead drivers on our roads here in Australia, and particularly New Zealand. They've cleaned up nearly 500 of them. Australia has yet to begin.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!